Hey everyone, so a lot of the fun of this game is getting new updates with new features, and also speculating about some of the features that might be added at some point. Now a lot of the ones people are excited about often require a lot of major changes and improvements to the game, such as things like server meshing. However, as I've been playing, I think there's a lot of changes that could be made with the current feature set, but that would still have a big impact on the game. This video is just going to be my thoughts and opinions on this, and I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments. So I'm going to start with one that doesn't involve much speculation since it's on the roadmap, and that is cargo decks. However, this is one of the ones I'm most excited for, since it seems like it's going to add a ton more gameplay opportunities. So I've watched some of the videos they've made about it, and it seems like they're going to have delivery missions, but with hauling cargo instead of the tiny little boxes that you have now. If these are similar to the current delivery missions, there won't be any penalty for losing your cargo, so I'm looking forward to having the option to trade without having to worry about 30Ks. Also, this hopefully could mean some more station-to-station trading options could come available, which will definitely be nice since flying the Caterpillar in atmosphere is slower than ever in 3.10. Right now, trading is one of the most developed parts of Star Citizen, and these new additions to stations seem like they're going to make it even better. Another thing I'm looking forward to seeing is racing in the Persistent universe. So the Grimhex expansions for 3.10 were supposed to have some new racing opportunities included, and while the physical location is there aren't any races available yet. However, I don't see much holding this back from being added later, and it'll be great to have another major aspect of Star Citizen in the Persistent universe. A lot of fans of this game just want to fly fast, and I bet it'll be a whole lot of fun to race with players and NPCs. I think this could create a lot of gameplay opportunities from a pretty small addition, and I can't wait for this to be put in. One thing that is in the game right now, but that I think could use some expanding on, are the mission givers. So right now they aren't too useful since the missions that they give don't pay more than missions that are just available in the contract manager, and there aren't really any perks to working with a mission giver consistently and being a good contractor or whatever you want to call it. So in addition to increasing the payouts for these missions, eventually I'd like to see some perks from working with these various influential people around the verse. One idea I came up with is that if you do a lot of jobs for Constantine Hurston, you get to land on these landing pads on the big building at Lorville. But I'm sure there's lots of other stuff that you could have these influential people get you access to. Making these mission givers relevant would help give some more diversity to Star Citizen's missions, and I would be excited to see what they come up with. So this one isn't that big of a deal, but since they added hunger and thirst to the game, I would like to see them keep expanding on it. First on my list would be being able to use the food preparation and storage facilities that are on a lot of ships in the verse, since I think this would add a lot of immersion and give some value to the ships that do have those features. Also, it would be cool to have all the vending machines that are around the verse work, because that would make for much more convenient eating. Also, since they added a status bar for hunger and thirst, why not add one for bathroom mechanics? All of these toilets on ships need to be put to use. Overall, these mechanics aren't really that important, but since they started to implement them, it would be cool to see them in a state that's closer to finished. So this is a small change that I'd like to see, but I think it would make a big difference to the atmosphere. So in a lot of sci-fi games and movies, ships arriving from whatever the faster than light travel implementation is a big event. In Star Citizen, it's pretty cool, but I think it could use some added drama with more sound effects and maybe some visual effects too. Also, in missions like these ECN alerts, I think it would be very cool to see the attacking ships quantum jump in on the target and start attacking, instead of just kind of appearing out of nowhere like they do right now. This wouldn't make a big difference gameplay-wise, but Star Citizen has a big focus on atmosphere as well, and I would really enjoy this change. Also, this could be a chance for stealth quantum drives to make a difference, with them making less noise than other options or something like that. I'd like to hear you guys' opinions on this though. So right now, a lot of ships are hindered when you fly them solo, and this can be limiting for a lot of people. It's hard to get people to play Star Citizen right now as it's still being developed, and even if you do, the chances of you all surviving without getting some sort of bug long enough to get some real multi-crew gameplay in are slim. While I do think that it should always be an advantage to have a full human crew, it would be nice to have some alternatives, and I don't think these alternatives are as far off as people think. So one of the eventual options will be hiring NPC crew members, and I think this could be implemented in the current state of the game. Right now you've been seeing me hijacking a freelancer from some NPCs, and one of them is actually in the chair with me. But anyway, as I'm doing this claim jumper mission, you can see the other guy in the back is just happily firing away at enemies in his turret. So this functionality is basically already in the game. They just have to figure out a system of hiring the actual crew members instead of hijacking their ship. So hopefully we'll see this added sooner than later, and I bet a lot of Carrack and Hammerhead pilots would agree. So another one kind of related to different types of missions, I'd like to see them add, at least in a basic level, transporting people around the verse. So this is going to be a big profession at some point, once ships like the Genesis Starliner are in the game, and also it'll be one of the only uses for a lot of Origin ships, transporting passengers in luxury. But I feel like right now they could add missions where you transport just a couple of NPCs from location to location. Now, I think it would be a concern whether or not this would stress the server too much, but since every time you go to a new station in an asteroid field, so like one of the ones where people usually aren't visiting too often, it seems like the server makes about 20 NPCs to fill that station. So having a few just for missions doesn't seem like it would be too big of a deal. I'm not so sure on this one, but I would definitely like to have the option for more gameplay opportunities. If you've been playing this game for much time at all, you've probably noticed that getting in and out of the pilot seat of a ship resets all the changes you've made to things like the MFDs and the weapon bindings. I think I've heard in one of their videos that they're working on a way for these things to be a bit more permanent, and I can't wait for them to add this seemingly simple thing. For whatever reason, it really messes with me to have to press both mouse buttons to shoot all of my ship's weapons, and I forget to change it almost every time I get in the ship. It's like if you had to adjust your seat and mirrors every time you got in your car. So even though this would be a relatively small change, I'd still love to see it. So with the Greycat Rock being in the game now, a lot more players than before are going to want to load up a vehicle in their ship to transport around. Now Carrack and 890 jump owners have been dealing with this for a long time, but there's still no way to spawn your ship with another vehicle inside of it. If they added this, it would save a lot of players a lot of time. This might be a bit of a technical challenge for them to implement, but it would be a great quality of life change, and a lot of people would definitely take advantage of it now that the Rock is a useful thing to be carrying around with you. So I'm going to finish off with one subject that is often pretty controversial, that being missiles. Right now people either love them or hate them, and most of the time that opinion depends on whether or not they're on the receiving end. Whatever you think about using missiles, I'm looking forward to them behaving more predictably in the future and having more counterplay options. I know that right now they're trying to get countermeasures working again, so that's a good first step, but I'd love to see even more depth to ways you can avoid missiles or shoot them down, especially now that turrets work, so it would be cool to be able to target missiles or something like that. And also, things like size 9 torpedoes being able to do flips and rolls to hit light fighters, I don't think that fits in this game, and stuff like that should be looked at. Another thing is, certain ships consistently can't use their missiles, like the 325 in Constellation, which just adds even more annoyance. Once missiles are in a better state, I think it'll be great because people will have adequate options for countering the missiles, and the consistent behavior from the missiles themselves will make for less frustrating gameplay. So that's all I have for this video. It's a little bit different from my usual style, but let me know what you guys think, and also let me know if you have any ideas for what you'd like to see in the game. Thanks for watching!